something just a little bit different today. What I have here in my hands, and it's all compressed up right now, is a folding drop umbrella net. Now this is definitely different from what we usually use out here, which are traps you can bait up, throw out, and in a couple hours you can come back, pull them out, and get whatever bait's been caught. This is actually open, so the fish can not only swim in, but they can also swim out. So a lot more active participation. You're going to have to observe. You're going to have to stick around with this one, but it is a ton of fun. It is around 22, 23 inches long. You can see this green mesh here. It's about 3 to 4 millimeter mesh. I have my standard parachute cable. Inside, you're going to find 2 sets of steel rods, and so it's 4 rods total. They come in sets of 2, and they're connected by little pieces of black plastic. And you'll understand what these are used for in just one moment. Assembling this trap is very simple, and it's pretty ingenious. What you're going to do is take one, or both rather, of the 2 pairs and swing them out. And this will make an X. Just make them perpendicular, 90-degree angles, and they'll move around here and there. They're free sliding. So you want to make sure everything's untangled. What you're going to do now is go ahead and grab on. At the end of this pair, I've got a piece of black plastic. You grab onto that. At the end of this pair, I'm going to have this piece of black plastic. All right, opposite ends. And I'm simply going to pull them towards each other. And what that's going to do is actually bow that metal. So by the end of this, it'll actually look like an umbrella of sorts. I'm going to go to the other pair that I haven't messed with yet. Grab onto the piece of black plastic. Again on the other end. And actually push them together. And what you should find now is that nicely formed umbrella. What you're seeing is pretty much a net under here. It's got about a 2-inch sidewall. You have a little bait bag in here, which is not well made, so you might have to actually formulate or build something for that. And of course, my rope right here. Now, I like to add a few extra parts to this. You can just simply put it in the water, pull it out whenever you have bait. But a lot of times your bait's going to want to get away. This is a trapping game, and you're going to actively participate in this trap. What I have right here is a piece of buckeye, and I usually use this. You can use pretty much a fishing rod, something like that. Something that gets this out of the water, away from you and your movement, so that the fish and the minnows and the crawfish feel a lot more comfortable. I've attached my trap onto this wooden spar pole, and I've done so with about 1.5 feet of line remaining. I can get up to about 3 foot long, but the longer you go, the more warning you're going to give your crawfish or minnows or whatever you're trapping as you're pulling this trap in. You don't want to have a lot of things wiggling. If they're warned, they'll run. You're going to catch less. Now this is a very, very shallow trap. It's got, again, 2-inch sidewalls. I put this in maybe 3 to 4 inches of water. The deeper you set this thing, the more bait's going to be able to get out of it, and the less likely you are to actually catch something. So optimum conditions are very, very, very shallow. You want to stay down low. You want to wear clothes that make you blend in. You do not want whatever you're going after to actually sense you, move from you. You want them to be very comfortable. You want them to wander onto it. You want them to have enough time to actually congregate and get quite a few. So I'm going to show you how I do this. I have this extremely long pole, and again, I try and pick my locations as well as possible. We go ahead and set this down over here. We go in. Make sure I can put my pole somewhere that I'm not disturbing any of the trap, moving around it anyway. And now you play the waiting game. This can take a minute. You have lots of minnows moving around, high traffic. If you're going for crawfish and slower moving prey, you could leave this out for 20, 30, 40 minutes perhaps. But again, whenever you come back in to actually pull this up, you need to be very stealthy, very quiet, and very careful in the way you do this. So I'm going to leave this for a few minutes. I'll sneak back up here very low to the ground, grabbing onto this without actually messing it around or disturbing it, and I'll pull up as fast as possible. And hopefully, I'll have some bait. Time to wait.